Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to say that I'm not so happy with the current situation. We are 45 minutes away from our training speech. So that means that, like yesterday, we were more than 3 hours away to have training. 45 minutes to drive, 1 hour, 50 minutes training, and another 45 minutes to drive. It doesn't make me happy, such things. And certainly not that if my information is right, Cameroon and we have to train in the base camp of Morocco, our next opponent. I don't understand that CAF allowed that. But okay, I have to say that because it makes me unhappy. For the game of tomorrow, it's surely a special game for me. As you know, I won AFCON with our opponent of tomorrow. Even there are not so many players anymore in the team. I think only Bassogog and Tolo. All the rest I don't really know, but if you win an AFCON with a country, there's always a little place in your heart that stays for the rest of your life. And that's the case also with Cameroon and me. It will always be there, but tomorrow I can't have mercy with them. I want to win the game tomorrow because I'm coach from South Africa now. And but it's a special game. I have to say that. That doesn't mean that we are not going to fight for tomorrow. And I was surprised a little bit of that Cameroon team. It changed a lot in when you compare with the team that played the qualifiers for World Cup. And I was a little bit surprised to see them playing. Because it's a very good team. It's a young team. There are some talented players. There's a good fighting spirit, a good mentality. So that means that tomorrow we have to achieve our best level if we want to beat them.
Thank you, Coach. I'm just going to pose the same question to you, just from a player's perspective. How are you guys feeling? What are some of the conversations that you're having as players within camp ahead of the match tomorrow?
Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, as a team, we are excited for the game tomorrow. The talk we are having is we must do better than we did in the last AFCON. So, of course, we know tomorrow is going to be a tough game against Cameroon. And, of course, we're looking forward to the game.
Thank you. We're now going to open the floor for questions. Please kindly raise your hand and the mic will come to you.
Bonjour coach, Vivien Tonfac, journaliste Équinoxe Télévision Cameroun. Vous allez affronter justement la sélection avec laquelle vous avez remporté la compétition.
Sorry, Coach, you can just put the mic on.
No, I understand French. It's no problem. It's no problem.
Voilà, je disais que
Répétez s'il vous plaît.
Je disais que vous allez affronter demain la sélection avec laquelle vous avez remporté la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations en 2017. Est-ce que, et vous sortez d'une CAN où vous avez terminé 3e, est-ce que vous aurez souhaité rencontrer le Cameroun à cette étape de la compétition en demi-finale? À quel niveau aurez-vous souhaité rencontrer, à cette étape des 8e de finale, à quel niveau vous aurez souhaité rencontrer le Cameroun?
Ben, j'avais préféré de rencontrer le Cameroun dans le final. Ça, c'est évident. Peut-être c'est un peu trop tôt maintenant de se rencontrer. Et surtout, comme j'ai dit au début de cette conférence de presse, c'est un match très spécial pour moi. Et je pense que vous comprenez pourquoi. Donc, encore une fois, vous savez, si tu es dans un tournoi pareil, ça peut arriver que tu joues un match contre le Cameroun. Mais j'aurais préféré de jouer contre eux dans la finale.
Bonjour à tous les deux, bien sûr. Dunia Mesli pour Afrique Foot. On a noté que l'une des plus belles qualités de l'Afrique du Sud, ce sont les frappes de loin. Après votre magnifique parcours à la dernière CAN en Côte d'Ivoire, est-ce que votre objectif minimal, c'est d'aller en finale? Merci.
C'était l'ambition, hein, quand nous sommes venus ici, notre ambition était de faire aussi bien qu'il y a 2 ans, c'est évident. Mais j'ai aussi dit avant ce tournoi que ce tournoi serait beaucoup plus difficile que le tournoi à Côte d'Ivoire. Quand vous voyez qu'en première phase, il y avait déjà les grands pays qui étaient partis, éliminés. Le Ghana, l'Égypte, le Cameroun, qui encore. Donc tous les grands pays étaient déjà partis. Donc ça devenait un peu moins difficile. Maintenant, ils sont tous là. Je pense qu'ils ont bien appris leur leçon d'il y a 2 ans. Donc ça veut dire que maintenant, dans cette phase de ce tournoi, que tu as toujours un grand pays. Donc ça fait que c'est pour arriver en finale ou même en demi-finale, ça sera beaucoup plus difficile. Mais encore une fois, notre ambition reste et on va voir ce que ça va donner dans les semaines qui suivent et déjà commencer avec le match de demain qu'on veut gagner.
Bonjour coach, ici. Là, coach, là.
Ah, là-bas.
Ouais. Charles Douglas Ndemba, journaliste camerounais de Balafon Média. Coach, l'Afrique du Sud, vous avez parlé d'une belle équipe du Cameroun, un groupe jeune, une équipe qui évolue bien. Est-ce que vous avez travaillé dans la préparation de cette rencontre-là, dans l'éventualité des tirs au but? On sait que l'Afrique du Sud a un grand gardien et c'est un exercice qui réussit plutôt très bien au Bafana Bafana. Merci.
Ouais, écoutez, allez, de notre côté, encore une fois, c'est très important de survivre ce prochain match. Vous avez entendu notre ambition et notre ambition reste encore la même. Donc, ce n'est pas changé. Même si, comme je viens de dire, que le tournoi est beaucoup plus difficile qu'il y a 2 ans. De l'autre côté, avec tous les changements qui ont eu lieu au Cameroun avec l'équipe, j'étais curieux de voir cette équipe. Et elle m'a encore une fois surpris. Je n'avais jamais attendu que sur un temps pas grand, pas trop de préparation, qu'ils savaient déjà préparer une équipe pareille. Donc je pense que le coach a fait du bon travail là-bas. Et pour nous, ça devient un match difficile.
Before we continue, I just want to clarify to the South African journalists, I understand that you have a problem with French. You can kindly scan this so that you can get direct translation from the coach and from the journalists when they're asking questions. So if you can just go on both ends and then you can scan and then you can hear what the coach is saying when he's speaking in French, and then French journalists, you can also understand when he answers in English. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Coach Hugo BROOS. Ben Collins of the Cameroon Radio Television. Here, Coach, to your right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Coach, Cameroonians will always remain grateful to you, what you did to them in 2017. Once more, congratulations. It's true you said there will be no mercy tomorrow for Cameroon. But it's a team that is similar to what you had in 2017, young players who are eager to make a mark. Under somebody you worked with, Alexander Bellinga, there is also a player you used who was the best of the tournament, Christian Basogok. He's going to face Hugo BROOS tomorrow. So it's going to be like a game between Cameroon and South Africa. And on the other hand, Cameroon against Hugo BROOS, a tough game for you. What do you think is going to make a difference?
Tomorrow it's a game between South Africa and Cameroon, not between Hugo BROOS and Cameroon. Let that be clear. Secondly, there's been a lot of changes, and when so close to the tournament, you change a team, like it was changed in Cameroon. You always think, how will that end? But for you, people of Cameroon, it ends very well because you have a good team again, and a young team. A team who you see that's a team who has hunger to play and to have good games and to win games. And you can compare it maybe a little bit with 8 years ago when we went to the tournament in Gabon. Nobody expected something from us, and suddenly Cameroon won the AFCON. Because I had also a young team, I had a team who was hungry to do nice performances, and you see that the mental side of a team is very important, and I think that Cameroon showed that again now.
Coach Mazola, right here in front. I wanted to go back to your earlier comment about the traveling to the training grounds. Just how important are logistics, because people back at home might not be aware at times that some of the challenges that you face at a major competition.
I don't want to give more comment on that, but I think in a tournament like AFCON, that training pitches can be closer to the hotel than 45 minutes. That means that you lose 1 hour and a half when you have to go to train because you're in the bus. It never happened. I was in Gabon, I was in Ivory Coast, till now, here in Morocco. I never had to drive more than 15, 20 minutes. So I think there have been, or there should have been, another pitch here closer to the hotel if you organize games. But yeah, okay, it is what it is, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm not happy with that.
All right, Coach Hugo BROOS. My name is Emmanuel. I work for the BBC Sport Africa team. It's a good thing that you reflected to 8 years ago where you led Cameroon to winning the AFCON. You are the last foreign coach to win the AFCON. Since you won it in 2017, the other coaches are homegrown coaches from Africa who've won it, from Algeria to Senegal to Cote d'Ivoire. Now my question is, do you think African coaches are now proving their mettle to the extent that many of them now can begin to venture out of the continent to also take up jobs? You would recall that in time past, we have more of the foreign coaches leading our teams at tournament like this. But in the recent years, we've seen more of African coaches. What do you think about their performance? And what do you think is the future of African coaches in the game globally after what they've been doing on the continent?
In my language, they say, you're never pope in your own land. And that is not only in Africa, that's also in Europe. People always think that foreign coaches are better than local coaches. Why? Don't ask me. Maybe also because foreign coaches, because they got the chance to do it, had success. So I think sometimes you have to put more confidence in a local coach and maybe give him some more time to prove something. Yeah, I know, but the light is very difficult. So to prove himself. So Africa, why should African coaches be worse than other coaches? I don't know. So again, it's a question of giving the time to them to build a team, and also have patience with them. I think maybe in the future, in the past, they give more time to a foreign coach than to a local coach. So the fact that now all those local coaches are making good performances, I think the proof is there that they are good coaches.
Tebza, Lorenzo from Industry Times. This is not your first AFCON. Obviously, you were one of the most important players for Bafana when they finished third in the last AFCON. What would you say about your performances in this edition? Do you think that you've been at your usual best? Or if you don't think that way, what do you think is the difference between this one and the previous AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire? Because Coach did previously mention it's going to be different.
I sheba AFCON 2023, League 2025. Difference go the teams the whole. They realize it's like they made a mistake at 2023 because they didn't perform well. Because if we sheba 2023, Team Zealand in knockout stage, it was mostly the small teams. And we had this talk with the coach. He told us that the same teams we beat in the last AFCON, they won't make the same mistakes now. For example, he made an example about Morocco. So now the level is higher, and for me, the performance, of course, is not. I'm not really bothered about my performance. I'm really concerned about what we do as a team, not what I do as an individual, because what we do as a team is more important than what I do as an individual. So, yeah, but the level now is doing high. The teams are focused, and you can see like everyone wants to win this AFCON, and also for us, it's our goal to win this AFCON, and there's no backing down. So we have to fight till the end.
Coach, a question over here to your right. Far right, sir, thank you. As Sinatemba said at the beginning, as you've alluded to, a bit of an emotional element to you with a meeting against Cameroon tomorrow. How did you experience, knowing Fekkerfoot, knowing the way the federation operate, how did you experience or think about the controversy around the team, the two squads, the firing of your compatriot, another Flemish coach in Marc Brice ahead of the tournament, the Andre Onana being in the squad, all the tumult around Cameroon? What were you thinking when you were learning about this? Thank you.
It's not because I told that this is a special game for me that I will give some presents to Cameroon tomorrow. No mercy tomorrow. You can be sure. No mercy tomorrow. I have to win that game. That's all what counts tomorrow. So no hard feelings, no sentiments, no nothing. I'm the coach of South Africa and I want to win the game tomorrow.
Debs, Brownlee, Backpage Media. You guys have voiced a lot of frustration about the qualification for the knockout stages. You've been very hard on yourself. The coach has mentioned the frustration now again of the travel to and from the stadium. What is the mental state like in camp for you and the players?
Of course, it's hard for everyone, like the traveling and whatsoever. But the goal is one. The goal is to go to the final. We know some of these things that are happening is just a distraction to the team. But with the guys in camp, we know what we want. We know why we are here, and the focus is to win the tournament for the coach, because we know this is gonna be his last AFCON with us. So it will be nice to give him a beautiful send-off with AFCON trophy. It will be a very nice present, but I know he doesn't like presents, so yeah.
Greetings, I'm Chogozisi from Far Post. Debza, you're one of the players that's been there from the time coach started with this group. You're obviously a senior player in this team. And when the tournament gets to this stage, it demands a leader, in the dressing room. Do you see yourself as that leader in this Bafana team? And obviously there's a lot of youngsters. What are you doing to just make sure that you sort of guide them? And
our team is full of leadership. We have CB who is the captain of Orlando Pirates. Ronan is the captain of Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm the vice captain of Mamelodi Sundowns. So there's leadership in the team. So I can't pinpoint who's the leader. We are all leaders in the dressing room. We just make sure that we are ready for the games.
Bonjour coach. Ici. Extrême. Ok. Bonjour coach, félicitations pour le parcours. André Mirabeau, Canal 2 International. Coach, le Cameroun n'a plus battu l'Afrique du Sud depuis 1992. Cette statistique, pour vous, ça compte ou c'est juste un chiffre?
Vous savez ce qui s'est passé dans dans le passé ne compte plus. C'est pas parce que j'ai gagné il y a 8 ans la CAN que je vais le gagner maintenant. Donc les résultats du passé, oui, c'est parfois on y pense, mais on ne sait pas tenir compte avec ça. Je pense que les deux équipes ont fort changé, donc ça sera un match tout à fait différent aussi.
Yes, coach, I'm here. Velila here, next to the camera.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, there.
Yes. Thank you, coach. Velila from SABC. Coach, the last time we spoke to you, you were concerned about some certain areas, and you were looking at using the 6 days that you have on working on some of the things you wanted to work on. How valuable has been this long period of rest and also having to work on the team, and maybe in Marrakesh you also had a bigger chance of working on a tactical work without the attention here in Rabat.
Yes, I think when we see our performances in the group stages, I think we expected more of it. That is for sure. So we spoke about it in the group, and I think what I saw the last week on training was totally different. So, and I think it's also a little bit normal when you see what the progression this team made. You always win and win and win and win, and then at the end, everybody, also me, are thinking, yeah, okay, next game we will win again. And maybe you do a little bit less, or maybe you're not so focused, and then it can happen that that you don't play the level, or that you don't achieve the level what you want. I'm sure of it, of what I've seen now in the past days on training, that tomorrow you will see another South Africa than you saw in the group stages. But it was the right moment maybe to have a little call up and to go back to basic and see tomorrow that we can play again our game like we always do.
Good afternoon, Temza. You have been involved in a lot of football matches of consequence in the Champions League, semi-finals, finals, last AFCON, domestically and that kind of thing. How much do you draw from that experience as you go tomorrow as some sort of a reference point? You know, when you look back, you have been here before. How much do you draw from that experience so that you are ready, and also maybe share some information with some of the younger guys in the team?
Yeah, of course, tomorrow is going to be a very tough game, an important game for everyone back home and even for the team. Yeah, man, we spoke with the coach. We had a meeting after our last game with Zimbabwe. We went back to our basics, like the coach just said. And I think everyone has a different perspective. And what can I say? We went back to the drawing board, and we fixed our mistakes. And I think right now we are ready for the challenge. And we lost the right game, I think, against Egypt. And now we can't suffer defeats anymore, because if we lose it now, we're gonna go home. And we're not planning to go home because we packed enough clothes for till the end. No, of course, the nerves are not, we're not as nervous as I was before, as compared to past years. Now we're just looking forward to the game. We're just ready, yeah, as a team, yeah.
We're going to take the last two questions, and then we're going to close the press conference. Can we go to the gentleman with the glasses, please?
Thank you. Coach here.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Simon from Cameroon Radio Television. We remember, like you said, you won the trophy for Cameroon, but many were surprised, like you used to say, that 10 months after winning the trophy, you were sacked as coach of Cameroon. And when we hear you today say you're not going to give them any free buys tomorrow, it's like you have that flame in you, And when you heard that it was Cameroon next, you said, okay, it's time for revenge. Is that? Thank you.
I didn't understand your question. What do you want? I didn't.
Coach, if I may paraphrase, I'll go slower. You were sacked as coach for Cameroon just 10 months after you won the AFCON trophy. Here, when you heard that round of 16 was against Cameroon, it was like you said, okay, it's time for revenge. Is that?
No. There is, you know, why should I have revenge? Because at the end of my contract, they didn't renew it. I know what happened that time in Cameroon and why I was jumped. I know it why. So yeah, this is 8 years ago or 7 years ago. Why should I want to beat Cameroon now because they sacked me? No, I just want to beat Cameroon because I'm coach of South Africa. So no revenge at all.
Oui, coach.
Yeah.
Ok, bonjour coach. Quand vous alliez au Gabon en 2017 avec le Cameroun, personne ne savait pas que le Cameroun allait remporter cette Coupe d'Afrique. Je pense peut-être vous-même, vous ne l'imaginiez pas. Vous voyez le Cameroun dans cette situation actuellement. Vous ne vous dites pas qu'ils peuvent être dangereux dans cette posture où tout le monde ne les attend pas. Qu'est-ce qui vous fait le plus peur dans cette équipe du Cameroun?
C'est comme vous dites, hein, peut-être avant le tournoi, personne attendait ou expectait que le Cameroun serait loin dans ce tournoi, certainement avec tout ce qui s'est passé 2-3 semaines avant le tournoi. Donc il y a toute une nouvelle équipe qui est là avec des jeunes joueurs et on sait comment ça va avec des jeunes, on ne sait jamais comment ils vont s'adapter. Mais quand les 3 matchs que j'ai vus du Cameroun, j'étais bien surpris parce qu'ils ont vraiment une bonne équipe. Et alors quand je dis une équipe, c'est vraiment l'accent sur l'équipe. Il y a quelques bons joueurs, mais c'est surtout le collectif qui est très fort. La mentalité, l'esprit du groupe est très bon. Donc tu vois ça directement sur le terrain. Chacun travaille pour son coéquipier et c'est un bloc. Donc là, on peut comparer peut-être aussi un petit peu qu'en 2017, on avait pratiquement le même groupe. Un groupe qui, je me souviens encore quand on partait pour le Gabon, qui disait qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire au Gabon. Mais là, c'est un peu la même situation. Et c'est pour ça que je sais demain que ça ne va pas être très facile pour nous. Ça va être très difficile pour nous. Donc, on verra demain. Mais encore une fois, si on ne sait jamais, peut-être que le Cameroun peut de nouveau être la surprise du tournoi cette année.